It's Rolex, the Rolex Australian Grand Prix. God dang it. The worst part of that.
This is the F1 side pod.
You know what sucks about that intro is that I didn't even think there was anything to mess up, so I thought, we'll just blast through this one.
And then you get
got stuck on the P. Yeah.
Well, everybody, welcome to the F1 side pod post Australia race. I'm Cody.
I'm Noah.
And I'm Paul.
So we'll start off real quick. Top five: Verstappen P1, Hamilton P2, Alonso P3, Stroll P4, Perez P5. Very interesting. Very interesting race, all in all. A lot of shit happened between swaths of stuff not happening.
Yeah, it was a very good race, but it was the most grueling thing to get through the end of it.
Oh, I know.
With all the stoppages.
Yeah, just trying to decide. And it was one of those races where it was very hard to skip over to the end because they had this ruling they hadn't decided on. So I kept there's red flag forever, and I'm trying to fast forward because I had it recorded, just fast forward past that. But it's I don't know what the ruling is going to be, and it's going to make no sense when they just start back up.
Yeah.
So it just.
It was fun up until that slog.
Yeah, very fun up until then.
Yeah. So the last race, obviously, the race ended essentially behind a safety car. Technically, the safety car had come in, but same difference. They couldn't pass to the line, and the line meant the race was over. So it was behind a safety car. But they decided after the, penultimate lap, just everybody crashing on restart.
Everyone got greedy.
Yeah, to reset to basically that order, go again. So all the movement was null and void, which some people enjoyed. I'm sure Haas wasn't thrilled about, but they still got points. And
if the race had just finished,
a bunch of wankers.
Yeah, there you go.
If the race had just finished where it was at, they would have got 8th. They ended up getting 7th over Carlos Sainz anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean,
so we'll go through this. Like I said, a lot of stuff happened. So we'll start at the beginning. Mercedes is fast again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, I honestly, I think Verstappen at this point knows, hey, nobody can hold a candle to this car. I can kind of take it easy and I'll pass all these people. But, Merc came out right off the bat, 1 and 2, passed up Verstappen. And I was kind of surprised by that. Not only they were starting 2 and 3, but they then came out past Verstappen, who has a rocket engine.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested to see their development. They clearly have got a good car again, which was inevitable. Eventually they're gonna figure things out and be, the team they are.
But is it a good car? Because Russell's engine exploded.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, have they already switched concepts? Because they were going to get rid of the zero side pod and go to basically a Red Bull design.
Oh, you know
have
what?
Have they done that yet?
I didn't even look.
I don't think they have.
Too, last year, Red Bull obviously had the best car, but their engine just stopped mid race several times too. So I still think it's a good car, but yeah, just a bad technical issue this time.
Speaking of people also.
And I think a big problem right now they're going through is they're not working as a team. They're working as, we got to get Hamilton back up to the top. Because they're not. I think Russell is the superior driver, honestly, on that team.
Well, they were giving him, while he was ahead, they were giving him the better strategy. It's just that pit ended up fucking him over and his car exploded anyway, so it didn't really matter. But
right.
I don't know. I think they're kind of trying to right now, before there's a big difference in points, they're trying to just honor, hey, whoever's in first, they're getting the better strategy. But I didn't like when Russell was in first that they were just letting Hamilton fight him.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's kind of what I'm talking about too. Is just Yeah, why would they let him do that?
Yeah,
I don't think they would have done it in the reverse case.
yeah, exactly. If
Right.
Hamilton was in
Yeah,
first,
they
would
would
they
have
be
told
like,
him to back off of Hamilton.
yeah, defend Verstappen, don't push.
Open a gap up for Hamilton.
Yeah. But yeah, Russell, when he came on the radios and was like, you guys are telling me to conserve these tires, but I'm fighting my teammate
Right,
behind
yeah.
me. Which I think maybe they called him off. They never played the radio message for it, but I think they called him off. But shortly after that's when
They pivoted.
everything started to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that was a good strategy. That was just terrible luck for George Russell, basically after like lap 4.
Yeah.
Where there was a safety car because Albon crashed. Yes.
Yeah.
Albon crashed, safety car. Russell gets a cheap pit stop, no brainer. They think they can make it to the end on the hards, and then it's red flagged, so everybody gets free tires anyways, and he starts like P7.
Yeah.
So then, 20 laps later, his engine explodes. So bad luck for him, but I think, man, without that, I think there's a decent chance he's at least P2. He would be above Hamilton potentially without those things happening if it wouldn't have red flagged. But, good showing, but terrible luck, essentially, is what it comes down to. But also, speaking about someone who, if anything, just has terrible luck.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, no, not this time. Not this time. Later.
Gotcha.
We'll see if we can call him again. But Charles Leclerc
Oh, yeah.
just gets tapped, spun out into the gravel, race over, 3 turns into the race.
Yeah, they're having a hell of a time,
And
Ferrari.
it's honestly similar to what Sainz happened last year, except for some of Sainz stuff was because he was like pushing too hard because it was a really good car and you thought he was trying to get
Leclerc
the most.
also had that issue last year too. With like it felt like sometimes
Towards
he
the
was
end, I
pushing
think.
too
Yeah,
hard.
Sainz was early on. Leclerc's kind of came later. But like this was just somebody hit him
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was just bad luck and he spins out again. This wasn't typical Ferrari strategy or anything like that. It was just
I feel like they have
shithouse
their
luck.
strategy thing kind of getting figured out again.
so far at least. But yeah, I was immediately I was like, this dude cannot catch a fucking break anymore. And then later on in the race, on that restart where chaos ensued,
Yeah,
Sainz was the only person penalized for touching anybody else this entire race.
Yeah.
When 8 people went out of this race, I think, or was it 6?
But were the other ones for causing collisions, or did they just run off track?
Both of the Alpines came together and crashed. I mean, most of them, they were all ruled racing incidents except for Carlos Sainz's, which was, I don't know, weird. Because some of them I thought like, oh, hey, that seems like a potential penalty. But then they just kept not giving penalties until literally they're all sitting there with 1 lap to go. And they're like, hey, guess what? You're getting a penalty. But anyways, then let's see. There was
Shouldn't have caused a crash. Yeah, that's what I say. It's like, I don't feel bad for him.
the other thing that I guess they explained it on the rules, but during that safety car when Hamilton was, Verstappen was yelling he was more than 10 car lengths behind. Essentially they explained it away, but at first I was like, oh man, Hamilton's fucked up this time. And then once again, nope, everything's fine. Everybody's got the rules wrong except for Hamilton, apparently.
Mikey, what was that?
I didn't know we had that drop, so that's really good.
I thought
Mikey.
on another note though, I thought Alonso and Aston Martin look really great. I think they obviously had some unlucky spots, but I thought Alonso looked super great. I thought that Alpine looked really great.
Yeah, Alpine
all
looked
day.
really good.
Gasly, that's who else I felt bad
And
for.
they just ended up very unlucky.
Freaking Williams looked good all weekend with Albon until they wrecked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Gasly was up there 4, 5, 6.
It was such an unusual result for how the whole race went and then how the places ended up. Like if you had just watched up to the last, if you just watched 57,
this race over.
or if you watched 55 laps of it and just quit,
Yeah.
and then heard the results at the end of the race, it'd blow your mind. Like, especially when it almost ended up that Haas got fourth.
Yeah. Oh God, it was
Yeah.
and McLaren got points for the first time this season.
I want to go on the record and say that I predicted that last podcast.
We don't
that
talk about that.
Norris was going to get points, and my prediction was right.
Right.
I think I said something nice about Valtteri Bottas,
But I don't.
that car sucks.
What did I say? I don't remember.
We never remember.
Yeah.
You
I remember.
You only
I
remember if you
that
say
I predicted
something
that
good.
Norris would finish in points. He was going to have a really good
I don't.
weekend.
You know, what's so funny is I don't even remember when I say something good. You usually tell me that what I said was good, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, cool!" Like, because I totally forget by the next week.
Well,
or
so
few
Mick
weeks.
Schumacher's not driving anymore. So and Vettel's not driving anymore. So you
We got the
probably
twins.
You probably
Yeah.
talked up Alonso.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
judging by
probably.
history.
I would
Right.
assume so.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was right.
He was on podium.
Actually,
I think that's what it
I
was.
said he'd be podium again.
Yeah.
Woo!
You said he'd
Look
get
at
his third.
that.
Well, here's the thing. You said he would get his third in a row right after he had actually had his second taken away from him.
Yeah.
But after we recorded, they gave it back to him.
Right.
So
God,
against
I'm a
all
freaking
odds,
genius. Hold on. I gotta adjust my headphones. My brain is swelling up and like.
Well, I think the
hitting my
Alonso prediction was a pretty safe bet. I think my Norris prediction was not as safe of a bet.
Also, just because
think-
like they were not doing well
Right.
today.
And I think my Norris thing proves that I can see into the future.
Yeah, because somehow you knew that there'd be a cataclysmic event at the end of the race that would cause them to get points.
He was in points before that. He
No,
was
that's fair,
eighth
yeah.
before that.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair.
He did good all
Yeah.
race.
I don't remember what my prediction was. I think it was Bottas, but good
Yeah, I think it
lord,
was
that
too.
Alfa Romeo sucks this year. It's really bad. But speaking cards that we thought were really bad, though, back to real quick, McLaren. Both cars scored points. Piastri at his home race, literally born in Melbourne.
So now Cody doesn't have to
So now I don't
return
have
his
to
sweatshirt.
Yeah, I don't have to return my sweatshirt. I can take the paper bag off my head when I walk outside. I mean, it was partially because of the chaos, but they're also supposed to get their big upgrade package
Next week?
next
Or
race,
next race.
like almost a month from now.
I just don't feel like last season these races were so spread out.
Yeah, no, you're getting emotional, Paul.
I can't believe it. What's wrong, man? Come on.
Oh, they do this to me. I just wanted 2 weeks in a row of races.
Yeah.
I'd fuck me. No, yeah, you're right, because there have been no back-to-back weeks so far, I don't
No,
think.
but I
Maybe
think there
one.
is a 3-week.
A thruple?
What do you call that? Yeah, thruple.
A thruple? I think there's a thruple
month.
coming up. A thruple month. Let's see. There's back-to-back Azerbaijan, U.S.
Miami.
Oh, Italy, Monaco, Spain, 3 in a row.
There we go. So maybe I think we might have 2 3 in a rows then. There's some weird.
I think there's at least 2 3 in a row this year.
Yeah.
I'll look further in the future later. But yeah, no. So McLaren actually scored points with their absolute shitbox of a car, and now their upgrades are coming. So hopefully, you know what? Maybe they go from the 8th best car to the 6th best car. You never know what's going to come out of there. Maybe they go to
Maybe they go to the
7th.
last.
Yeah, maybe they get worse.
Maybe.
You never know.
Their
But
upgrade is just a big cardboard panel that sticks straight up
Yeah.
and just catches wind. I
We
thought
call
that was
it
gonna
the
do
sail.
it.
yeah,
But it only works if the wind's blowing.
Yeah. I really
If
thought
you're
it was
going
one
with
direction.
the wind.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just goofed. I was thinking the wind was going to be blowing so hard that it would help us go forward.
Yeah.
It is the opposite.
then also Hulkenberg getting solid points, not as solid as he would ended up P4, like he looked for literally like a half a second.
Yeah.
And then
But he had a
Magnussen
good
tapped
race.
a wall and his tire exploded.
Yeah.
Magnussen just like Like there were multiple times where you could see like on all the freaking restarts we had of like cars like tapping each other and nothing happening, which is unusual.
Well, even
but he taps a wall and his
were like,
tires
"What?"
like gone. Yeah.
The commentators were like, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it. They mentioned it could have been like a sun in his eyes, but I think that was a factor in a couple of things today. Was just that. Yeah. And you could see if on the onboard cams, like whenever they go through that stretch and on the restart as well, like. How do you fricking see anything?
Yeah. Well, and especially, towards the end with all those red flags, like the sun was setting.
Longer and longer and longer. Yeah. No, that was crazy. And then around the time of Magnussen's tire exploding was when Gasly and Ocon came together. Totally accidental. Neither of them had really any room, or Gasly may not even known he was there. But like I said earlier, Gasly was in like top 5, probably going to finish, well into the points. And then on this restart, they come together, no points, everybody's out, bye. It was almost, if anybody had any luck except for maybe Hamilton, it was bad luck.
How did Perez end up finishing? Again?
P5.
P5, yeah. But before the incident, though.
Yeah, I think he was like 9th.
Let's see, he would have been P6.
Yeah, because he got
penalty.
past like Hulkenberg, so I know he was like 7 or 6.
Yeah,
I was
Norris.
actually surprised at how he didn't come up as quick as.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is like I was kind of surprised how much he got held back today, especially since this is a really like fast passy track.
Oh, see, I heard the commentator saying it's kind of hard to pass on this track.
Well, they added that DRS zone to give like a whole other like sector that. Well, it was like a passing zone.
I think it's a hard to follow track. So if you stay behind somebody for too long, you'll get overheated or something like that. But with the extra DRS zone, with how much power the DRS has for the Red Bull, I'm kind of surprised it didn't come up farther either.
I know, like,
and they kept showing Daniel Ricciardo
been back in first within 10 laps, probably.
Well, they kept showing Daniel Ricciardo like, "Hey, wouldn't you want this guy to be in your car right now?"
I know, they just kept like zooming it on, even.
And he'd smile.
His great smile.
Yeah, and then the crowd. Then they cut to a crowd reaction of them just being like, "Look at that guy sitting down."
Yeah, and then like had his head cut out, it's like waving in the crowd.
Yeah, they're like, "That's our boy sitting there."
Yeah,
look at him sitting.
But they did make a good point though with like him sitting out this season, because I guess he announced today too that he was like, "Yes, I'm still actively looking for a seat." For next season, But just they made a good point of like with the couple years of being at McLaren and just getting like emotionally just like
berated,
and just because he couldn't keep up with his teammate and everything. It's like probably needed to take a year off just to get his head back in the game, because I bet it was kind of affecting his
confidence.
His confidence of just
Well, and he had said something about like I think maybe it was like the small break that they took during COVID and stuff, that when he comes back from not racing for a while, like longer than just like winter break or something, he is just like more into it, and he thought he needed a break to like really get back into it, essentially. But I mean, hey, I hope he gets not only a drive but a good drive,
like a Red Bull drive.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on the fence on whether he'd be disappointing.
Is it Perez's contract up this season?
I don't remember.
I think it is.
I don't remember. I think it could be. I think they're running like 1 year at a time with him, so it could be. I mean, and then there's also if Hamilton decides to leave and he goes to Merck.
Oh God.
But then there's also, I saw a thing after qualifying that apparently Sainz and Leclerc were, quote unquote, seen arguing. Now, whether that's sensationalism or whatever, or just honestly two people talking, who knows? But
my understanding is that every single team members argue constantly.
Yeah,
but not Leclerc and Sainz.
They do seem like both pretty cool guys, honestly. Yeah. But my brain, as I was thinking of like different drives, at one point my brain went McLaren. I was like, fuck no, he just left there. What the hell? They're still paying this year.
Are they really?
Yeah, he got like I think it was like $43 million to cut his contract a year short.
Oh, wow. They
So
really wanted him gone.
He's getting paid a fuck ton to do nothing.
But also getting paid by Red Bull to be a reserve driver.
Yeah, honestly, there's a chance. Yeah, I don't know if they have like a mandatory minimum that a driver has to be paid. He probably would take that. He's like, hey, they're paying me $43 million. I don't need money. I'll just sit here. I'll just be your like
Smile guy.
Yeah, your smile guy. You
Your
need
hype
somebody
man.
you need somebody to go talk to the media for you and like
Yeah.
really schmooze them.
He just talks on the behalf of the drivers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Max said that
Yeah.
that he thought it was a bunch of bullshit. They're just like, oh, okay, cool. But
Yeah.
since you said it, that sounds nice. But if Max says it, they're going to be
Yeah,
like,
he's an
look at this
asshole."
asshole.
Yeah.
Look at him. Fuck him. But so then, let's see. Oh,
What
yeah.
I really enjoyed was the Alpine, principal.
Otmar Zafnauer.
Yeah. I really enjoyed his interactions with
Yeah.
the commentators and stuff today. Like, he seems like a cool guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's very dry but funny. Because when they were like, just between you, me, and about 10 million people watching, do you think these tires will go to the end? He's like, well, if it's just between you and me, yes, they will. It's like, okay.
I like Aston Martin's team principal.
Oh, Mike Crack.
McCrack.
Oh, good.
So now, after this race, we're 3 races in. Every team has scored at least a point. I don't know if
and
that's
I think
any
that,
sort of record or
I think
anything.
that McLaren is officially off the bottom now,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, because Alpha Tauri and Williams, I believe. Let me double check this real quick. I think it's Alpha Tauri and Williams are the bottom with 1 point each. Yes. Yeah, so they've each only got 1 point this whole season. I mean, this whole season.
yeah,
It's three
three
fucking races. Calm down. But yeah, no, McLaren's back in 5th after 1 race of being dog shit for the other 2. They're ahead of Alpine and behind Ferrari. So, shit.
3 races in.
3 races in. I mean, yeah. But, I mean, look how bad they looked those
Yeah.
first 2
Yeah,
races.
I would say they need to celebrate hard on this one.
Yeah.
Because
And
they got lucky that they got what they got this
Yeah.
weekend.
And hope that their upgrades prove
Yeah.
fruitful to keep them there. But
You never know with upgrades. I've been stuck on that hopeful upgrade train with teams before. I'd be like, okay, this week's gonna be different, and it's like
Well, because the thing is, all the other teams are
also
on
upgrading, and then sometimes they just don't pan out the way
Right.
you think either.
well,
yeah.
the good thing for McLaren is usually it's like that's up in the higher teams is the whole like upgrade fight with people. But McLaren's fighting against a bunch of teams that don't have the money to come out with like weekly or every race upgrades.
Yeah.
Like Haas, I think Haas this year announced like, hey guys, this year we're gonna have more than one upgrade package.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We're gonna upgrade like twice this
Twice
year.
this year.
I
So
love to see it. I'd love to see them just like. I love to watch them, and I'd love to see over the years them just slowly creep into the rear view mirror until
Yeah.
they're,
Till they're, like, in
up into the mid pack.
uh-oh, MoneyGram
beyond.
Haas F1 team is really
Yeah, they're really getting it now.
God, I really do hate that. I know you got to do what you got to do to get that money. MoneyGram's probably paying a fuck ton of money for that, but
I mean, money's in their
MoneyGram,
name.
yeah, they deliver it with like a bear, like a dancing bear.
Yeah. Every week they're like, here's your check.
Yeah, it's like
here's a little stuff.
It's like different, like it's like singing gram or whatever. And there's here's your check. It's like,
yeah.
is it the $2 billion or whatever it is you told us it was going to be? Yay! But yeah, so now we have to name our weekend warrior, the person who performed the best this weekend, and then they can contact us and get either an F1 Side Pod trucker hat or koozie, not both. Once again, so any nominations for the weekend warrior?
Lando Norris.
Fair.
Actually, no. Alex Albon.
Okay.
Qualified P8 and then shunted into a wall.
Well, but he made it up to. He qualified P8, but didn't he get up to like 4 or 5 before he shunted into the wall?
I think he was in like 6th when he shunted into the wall.
In Williams.
Yeah.
My weekend warrior this week never gave up, even to the last second, even when it looked like
Max
all was lost.
Verstappen.
No, not Max Verstappen.
He went
Never
off.
gave up all the way to the last second, kept a positive attitude after the race,
Daniel
helping
Ricciardo.
the team, not just thanking them and saying super proud of them, giving them lip service like Hamilton, but he's taking the damn tires to the garage and he's wishing a happy birthday to his to one of the mechanics and stuff. It's Alonso, Fernando Alonso.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, you really
He
like
didn't,
that guy.
and you know what? He after all that craziness of the restart and everything, almost immediately switches gears to check that rule because I think we may be fine and stuff. Is keeping positive. He could just be sitting whining in his car like it's
Like
unfair, mate.
Sainz.
It's unfair, mate.
Like Sainz. Like Carlos Sainz
like
was.
A great number of drivers. He could have been sitting in his car whining, but he's like, no, check that rule. I think we'll be okay and stuff. He's wishing his dang mechanic happy birthday. He's bringing in the tires himself. Staying positive, finishing strong, had a good weekend. 100%. And I love that guy.
Man, I've kind of gone back and forth on who I want to. Do I do like Paul and pick somebody who didn't finish but had a good showing, or do I do someone who actually
part
finished
of
the race?
weekend warrior status?
Yeah,
They gave it their all a weekend, and they had some. That's why I go Albon. He did well all weekend, and then he just had some bad luck.
I'll do a double nomination, and then we can all take our votes. Okay. My nomination for the person who didn't finish the race but had a good showing is Pierre Gasly.
I got a question about Alonso. So that's what he was doing today. What did he do Friday and Saturday? He could have been a big asshole all weekend. And
Well, I think Saturday was when the guy's birthday was.
oh,
actually.
was it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
So,
I feel like
I mean, Friday he could have been an asshole.
Yeah.
still.
What if he was an asshole?
I feel like
Friday?
he had a great weekend, and even up till
He
and
is the
after
bad
the
guy,
race, Alonso.
Yeah.
He self-proclaimed.
Yeah. Self-proclaimed bad.
I like
guy.
that even better.
Bad boy.
I like that even better in a competitive environment and stuff. Being like, I'm the bad guy,
Bad
Underdog,
boy.
dark horse. I like
Yeah.
that. That's fine by me. It's racing,
Yeah.
It's
So-
not a parade. We don't just
Yeah.
parade the cars out in
That's what they-
order.
and people-
then
and
just
people
in
vote.
That's
the
what they
race.
did today.
We don't
Well, at
parade,
the end.
Yeah.
We don't parade them out in order and then just let them go 58 laps in the same order for fun. But I like him. I love him.
So my nomination for person who didn't finish is Pierre Gasly. P9 was up in P4 at one point, fighting in a car that is not as good as the cars around him. And then my nomination for the person who did finish is Nico Hulkenberg. Got into Q3 again with that Haas. And obviously there's a lot of chaos at the end, but finished P7. Solid points for Haas.
I liked Hulkenberg's race. I thought he defended well. Who was coming after him? Was it Norris or was it
Piastri.
Piastri?
Well, Piastri was right behind him at the end, but
No,
Norris,
he fought someone off, and I'm trying to remember. I thought it was Norris.
He fought off Norris for
Norris.
multiple laps, and then finally Norris got past him.
He fought good there, and just a little mistake at the end. Like I thought he had a good race though, and P7's great.
Yeah.
And yeah,
All right, so
Q3 also great for Haas.
now we take our votes on
Okay.
we've made our nominations. I will concede to Alonso.
I will not. I'm.
Even after he's clocked out. The race is over.
Okay. So you're gonna give Weekend Warrior to a guy that's done the same thing every weekend?
Would you?
No,
okay,
I mean-
real quick, would it make you feel better if, especially people who didn't finish the race, if we gave it to Russell? George Russell, P2 in the Mercedes that we didn't think could keep up,
I
passes
wouldn't give
Verstappen.
him- I wouldn't give him the
No?
race.
Okay.
He didn't even make. I mean, how long was he even in the race?
20 something
I
laps.
just
about half the
don't. I
race.
just don't think we can give Alonso Weekend Warrior. Okay, nice guy, you like him, that's cool. But I don't think you can give him Weekend Warrior for doing the exact same thing he's done every weekend for the past 3 races. Hasn't he gotten podium every race?
It's expected now.
Yeah, now it's expected of him to be wishing happy birthdays.
It's the same
and
reason.
wishing people.
I
Well,
guess
I'll
it's
say
this.
this:
It's
one
the same
and
reason we
two-
don't give it to Verstappen.
Well,
I
I'll
guess.
say
Right,
this.
yeah.
No. I would make the argument that P1 and 2 have changed, but P3 has not.
Well, P2 has changed.
Right.
I guess P1
No,
was
P1
Perez.
changed too because
P1
Perez
was
won a
Perez.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So P1 and 2 have shifted, but P3 is strong.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. So you want to make him
It's huge. I think
F1
P3
2023
I
warrior?
I think a consistent P3 for Aston Martin is such a huge deal for that team.
I'm not saying it's not, but I don't
Yeah.
think that makes it him worthy of a weekend warrior if he's consistently giving them P3s every weekend.
I mean, I see what you're saying, and I'm not like immune to that argument. I just think that he did have a really strong weekend, but like I'm not immune to your argument for it, so I could concede to it, but
I don't know but I don't think I'm going to convince you to concede to Albon.
No.
no.
But I
think
will
that's
say
just-
Hulkenberg.
I think
I will
'Cause
give
Albon-
Hulkenberg.
Albon was.
I could say Hulkenberg. I just don't think Albon like.
Let's see. Albon was out before Russell. So if we're not even considering Russell,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But I'm going Albon based on his Friday Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, he got Q3 in a Williams.
I think that what we run into with this like ranking thing is that we kind of have different methods of like deciding. So
different
like
rubrics.
yeah, I think that you, from what I could guess, it's like what a third for like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No, I go over performance of the whole week because I watch
know,
all
but-
the free practices.
right.
I watch the
But
I
think,
see it the whole weekends.
Yeah, and
so Paul's is more of an even distribution.
That's
Noah's,
what I-
and Noah's
well,
is more
that's
of a
exactly what I
weighted
said.
scale.
Right.
I think that like for me, it's
I
at least
lean more
half, if
towards a
not
weighted
more of it,
scale.
is like the race to me. It's like you can have a great Friday and Saturday,
But if you don't get
your
points.
Sunday is bad, then
Okay, well,
me, that's-
so then
What about
do
Lance Stroll?
do we want to then not call it weekend warrior and call it like
I don't.
race warrior?
No, I like Weekend Warrior, but I think that your thing about Hulkenberg, I would say I could
But
see
he could,
more
yeah, because
confidently
I'll
that.
concede that because he did well throughout.
On both.
Albon,
Yeah.
I don't think that's, in my opinion, I don't like that one. But I think Hulkenberg's okay.
Okay, so we all feel like Hulkenberg. Have we all settled on Hulkenberg?
Yes,
Yeah,
Agreeing to Hulkenberg.
we've settled.
All right, Nico Hulkenberg.
It has been
and
settled.
your people at F1 Side Dash Pod is our Twitter. Message us, and you can decide if you want either the trucker hat or the koozie.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, not both. You cannot have both. But congratulations, Nico Hulkenberg, for being our weekend warrior for the Australian Grand Prix.
And it is going to take a minute to get that hat or koozie to you.
Yes,
because
no.
the shipping
The
problems
shipping,
we're still
yeah.
Shipping,
having.
just
yeah,
the
we don't know
shipping.
where you're at.
Yeah.
Any given,
Well, we know where he's going to be in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll
so
send it there. You can just pick it up
Yeah, he can pick
at
it
the
up.
UPS store there.
I don't know what shipping costs to Azerbaijan, but we may just wait till you come to America. That may honestly.
Yeah,
be
we'll give it to
easier.
you in Miami.
It's going to be sitting at Miami
Yeah,
Airport.
or at our house, whatever.
Or we're just gonna put it on a plane, like here in like Lexington, where we're at. We're just gonna put it on a plane to Miami and just be like, it's at the airport down
Yeah,
there.
you'll
Yeah,
find
go pick that up.
You'll find it. Well, that finishes our coverage of this week's race, and we will then talk about the next race, which comes in too long of a time away from right now. So we'll be right back. It's Baku time, baby!
Welcome, Baku.
Shit.
I'll be Baku.
So, as we're recording this, it's April 2nd. In 28 days will be the next race, which seems like just entirely too long of a break. But Azerbaijan, the Baku race is
One of my favorite races.
yeah, one of my, if not my favorite race, just because of the potential of just things going wrong
I
or
just
right.
love that super long DRS straight. where
Yeah.
you get
And
to
then
see
right
the
into
max
a-
speed of every car.
Right into a bunch of tight turns
Yeah.
where people can cook their brakes and slide off.
Yeah,
Or you
it's
have
a
two
good race.
teammates collide for no reason. But so I mean, there's been a lot of big races at Baku. I think last year it was kind of just kind of a meh to an okay race. I think because there just wasn't as
Wasn't
much
that
stuff that went
2
poorly.
years ago? Wasn't Verstappen like in first and he blew a tire on that
Yeah.
big straight?
Yeah. So
at the
2 years
last
ago
lap
was
or
the one
something?
where Verstappen and Stroll both blew tires for no reason.
Yeah.
Didn't touch anything. It wasn't like Kevin Magnussen. They touched a wall and their tire exploded. Just on the track, driving as normal, tire explodes. And it became a big issue for Pirelli. And then on the restart, Hamilton overcooked his brakes like crazy and went off at that first turn.
Oh yeah, under that runoff.
Because it was the season where Hamilton and Verstappen, it ended up being the big, showdown.
Yeah.
And so honestly, that could have potentially swayed the whole thing. But Perez ended up winning the race. I think Bottas P2, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like it's Baku's always prime for something crazy to happen. It doesn't always happen, but there's always a chance. Because there's some tight corners. There's the big DRS straight, like you mentioned.
I definitely don't think this is going to be a race like you saw today, where there was just very little like pit stops or like strategies in that regard. Like I don't think I don't think it's going to be a 1-0 pit stop race.
Yeah. No, this race was definitely one that hey, you know what? Pit once, throw on whatever you want to, and we'll just keep on going. But yeah, I'm trying
Mediums
to
and
look up,
hards.
Yeah. I'm trying to look up the tire allocation for last year to see if I can. Here we go. Pit stop summary. That didn't fucking tell me shit. Never mind. Whoops. But no, I think it's at least a one stop.
I think it's usually a one stop.
Yeah.
I think it's mediums and hards.
The whole time.
Yeah.
But at least it's not basically a 0 stop race like this one.
Yeah.
This one was all on track, less on strategy, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, what are you guys looking forward to the most?
The castle.
Yeah, okay. That's also what I was thinking.
Yeah. I
Okay,
love that little
how many
castle
times?
turn.
How many times are we going to get the shot where the guy's shooting through one of like the portcullises, the arrow slits, whatever you want to call it, on the castle, and then like follows him around a corner real quick?
It's one of the most beautiful shots in that
Because
one,
they do
so
it.
I want to see it as much as possible.
They'll do it at least once because it's almost like halfway through the race, the guy finally gets up to the top and catches his breath, and then he's like, "I'm ready. I'm ready to do the shot now." And then they do it, and then he's like, "Okay, I'll head back down."
Yeah, I love this race. I'm also interested to see if I love it to be competitive up front. Like
Yeah.
I think Formula One's at its best whenever the front three spots are very competitive. So
You don't have
it's
Alonso
not
getting P3
it's
every
not my
weekend.
it's not my team at all. But to see Mercedes like being more competitive against like
It makes me want
Red
to throw
Bull,
up.
it makes me. To me, it just makes the racing better. Do I want them to win? Are they my team? No,
I would rather Mercedes stay where they belong back in 6th, 7th, and have Aston and like Alpine or Ferrari battling it out with Red
Well,
Bull.
I'd like that too, but yeah, they didn't do it. So if one team's doing it and the others aren't.
Maybe McLaren's sailboat. Their
Yeah.
sail will
Well, it
bring 'em.
depends on the wind.
Yeah, hopefully on
Yeah.
the straight, it's the winds behind them.
Yeah, it's got to be going faster than the wind coming at them.
Yeah,
From the moving car.
from going 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I finally found the pit strategy for last year. I don't remember if there was maybe a safety car or something, but it was a 2-stopper last year. So I think it could potentially be a 1-stopper, but it comes down to then managing the tires.
The tire setup this year is a lot different than last year, though, isn't it?
A little bit. They've added in the C0, which is the softest of the soft.
Yeah.
But they haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they'll
I don't know where you would
put it in. It won't be in this one. Last
maybe
year
like
this was
Red
the
Bull
hardest
Ring or
3.
something.
Maybe.
Well, maybe it was last year and this year. It seemed like the tires were just way more.
Well, they
reliable.
with the new car concepts, they did change the
So
tires.
I guess that was last
They
year.
went
Yeah.
from 15-inch wheels to 18-inch wheels.
Yeah. So they are slightly different,
Or
and they're
were
still
they
kind of learning with
13-inch
them.
wheels to 18-inch wheels.
I don't
I think it was
remember.
13-inch to 18.
But yeah, so you're not making that up. There was a
There was a change.
there was a change.
Thank
So
you
they
for
have
that.
they have changed a little bit. And some people wanted them to change to where it was like they'll last way longer so that you don't get as many pit stops.
I want more pit
I
stops.
want
Yeah.
I don't want like happened in Baku a few years
the
ago
fun
where
stuff.
tires just explode for no reason.
Getting
But
that strategy.
yeah, getting the strategy, getting the
strategies.
and even it didn't play out well today for which extenuating circumstances, maybe have been the same thing anyways, but for Mercedes and Ferrari, but when to pit under the safety car, or do you wait to see if it's a red flag to get the free stop and new tires and all that stuff? I think leads into a lot of the strategy stuff, which, I guess if you're a Ferrari fan, you probably don't want as much strategy. You just want to put on tires and go. But no, I really enjoy the especially two pit races, because then it's when do you pit for this one? When do you pit for that one? Do you wait for this? Do you wait for that? Blah, blah, blah. And I don't like a race where it's just full managing the tires, because I feel like there's not as much racing. But I don't think we're going to be getting that.
Yeah.
But with this being also the race that it is, there is a chance for safety cars, VSC, red flag potential, stuff like that. So just I'm very interested to see.
I'm just interested in this season as a whole because I think it's just coming off to me like a lot more. The season's coming off a lot more competitive. Like it's early,
super tight.
but it seems a lot more competitive than last season.
That whole front line, like the first top 8 or something like that, maybe even top 10. Like even if it was during one of the safety cars, they were saying even if they took the 13-second pit, like they'd lose 13 seconds, they'd like drop them down to like 12th place, like because it was so close.
Yeah,
Like they were all like second and a half away from each other.
Yeah, well, and I think let me look up who
Which
it
was the whole point of the reg changes, was to create that.
I think it just improves the whole sport to do that.
Yeah.
It was somebody. Was it maybe Ocon? I don't remember. Somebody basically missed one of the qualifying sessions by 7 thousandths of a second. And so I think just showing the difference, or even like the first race or the first qualifying, the top 12, I think, were within like 0.3 of each other.
Well, there was the top 3 at one point in qualifying were separated by a tenth of a second,
Yeah.
which was crazy.
Or even, race 1 when Norris made it to Q2 over Sargent, and they had the exact same time, down to the thousandth of a second.
Yeah.
Just that Norris set the time first, so he got whatever grandfathered in, if you will.
Yeah, he moved to Q3 or whatever
it was Q2. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think the issue is that there's not as much a race for first.
Yeah.
Red Bull's up there, but the midfield is way tighter.
I think it could, as the season goes on, it could look a little better up there, but
it could, hopefully. But no, I think for sure, like I think it's really coming down, they mentioned it today, to the drivers.
yeah.
Because the cars some of them are very similar, especially since so many of them went to that Red Bull concept, that I think it really does come down to what can your driver do for your car instead of what can your car do for your driver, like it's been.
Yeah, like Hamilton, how he's won all his championships. What can the car do for the driver?
That's what I was trying to get to. Yeah,
Or were you?
I was just saying in general.
What was that president? Was that
JFK?
Kennedy? Yeah,
That's not what
you can do.
That's not what your country can do for you.
but what you can do for your country.
But yeah, so I think it's really leading to that, and I think that's showing in the fact that it's not a lot, but that we're 3 races in and everybody has a point.
Yeah.
No team is without points so far.
But drivers don't have points.
Yes, there are some drivers that do not have points. Do we want to list
Blast
them?
Do we want to
Shame them.
list and shame them?
There's only 2 of them.
Who are they?
Well, take a guess. Let's play trivia. Who are the 2?
Is it? Wait, hold on. It's
Sergeant.
Sargent. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that's correct.
And then
and also,
hold on. What's
Albon?
that?
no, Albon has.
Oh no, he has to.
Albon has. Yeah, he has to. Because
Hold on. It's on the tip of my tongue. Is it
Joe?
Is it Joe?
No. Joe actually has,
Piastri?
Joe actually has 2 points. No, Piastri got 4
points.
today.
Bottas.
Yeah, because he got points.
No,
today.
Bottas has 4 points as
De
well.
Vries.
It is De Vries.
Oh,
boys.
yeah.
The 2 new
That one,
boys.
Yeah.
Yep, Logan Sargent, Nick DeVries. I don't actually. Let me look real quick. Has Nick DeVries finished a race? Because I feel like he has had terrible luck. He didn't finish this race. Saudi Arabia. Okay, no, he finished Saudi Arabia. Okay, all right. I'm immediately proven wrong, but I feel like he's DNF'd at least twice already.
I know I kicked him off my team pretty quick in F1 Manager.
Yeah, I had kind of a bad feeling about him coming in because I feel like there's a reason he
I
hasn't
like
gotten a
Jack
seat for so
Doohan.
long. Yeah,
That's who
And
I
Alpine.
usually get.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so going into Baku, where potentially anything can happen, do we want to talk about that horse coming over the ridge?
Dark Horse Driver.
Smooth.
Nice. So Dark Horse Driver is essentially what we were bragging about earlier.
What I predicted last week.
Yeah, is who we think will basically outperform how they've been performing. So, you're not going to give it to probably a Red Bull driver because they've been performing at the top. So getting to the top still pretty good.
It wouldn't be good to give it to Alonso because he's been performing very consistently. So that
we
wouldn't
had
be a
that
good
argument.
pick.
Yep.
I know what a good pick would be.
What would it be?
Based on what we just talked about, I'm going to say Sargent's going to get... No,
Sorry.
DeVries is going to get points.
Oh.
I'm okay with you picking that.
I'm okay with you doing that too. Yeah,
Thank
I would.
you.
I think I would have of the two. I would have picked Sargent.
Really?
At least to just be
Yeah.
patriotic. You fucking asshole.
Let's see.
I just don't think the Williams can carry him there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick this before Noah can. I'm gonna pick Norris. Norris did well this week,
Copycat.
but they're getting those big upgrades.
They're getting those
And
big sales.
Hopefully that's an actual thing and not just a bunch of bullshit.
You talking about the sale?
Yeah, the sale.
Not much.
Yeah, they actually got the pieces on sale. So,
You should counteract, even do Piastri. Then you guys can.
or you could do Hulkenberg.
I actually want to pick. All right.
Lewis Hamilton.
I don't like my. Why do you think I picked Lewis Hamilton? I say Alpine is a team.
They are a team. They are a team.
As a team.
Oh, as
Yeah.
a team. I thought you said Alpine
like
is
no,
a team.
not
Like,
the
yes.
one driver, just as a team. I say Alpine.
Okay.
Like maybe both get points.
I think they finished right next to each other.
Like they did 2 weeks ago.
In 12th and 13th.
No. I think that they finished this race closer to what they should have finished. They finished
This
the next
race.
race, but they should have finished this race.
Gotcha. Which is
Well, they were 5th and 6th before everything, right?
I
Or
don't
was
think
it
they're
5th and
fifth.
7th?
Gasly was up in probably like around 5th.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
I thought they were like
Ocon
within a
was-
place or two of each other.
He might have been. I don't know. Ocon was kind of quiet, I guess. But no, I guess they would have had to been pretty close to hit each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, they may have been. I just didn't pay as much attention to Ocon.
I think
yeah.
I think they finished right next to each other.
Now, do you think
and I
finishing
say
right-
that's in the between the 5 and 8.
Okay,
spots.
so you're saying that they finished because in Saudi Arabia they finished 8th and 9th. So
Yep.
you think they finish?
Well, that's why we
Higher
call it
than
Dark
that.
Horse Driver,
Yeah.
baby. They're gonna finish right next to each other between 5th and 8th place, somewhere in there.
Okay, he's really calling
It's
a shot.
very specific. It's going to be hard.
I think it's decently specific and a good bet.
Okay.
I mean, Gasly did really well this week. I was pleased with it. I was really afraid Gasly would get outshined by Ocon, but I think Gasly just had a bad car last year, and it doesn't look like it's got a lot better. That car still kind of sucks. And unfortunately, Sonoda broke his streak of he could have had a record of 3 races in the same place in a row, 11th place, but instead Carlos Sainz got a penalty, pushed him up to 10th. Damn, he got a point.
Oh, what a bad break.
But yeah, no, my prediction, I'll say Norris, he finished P6 this week. I'll say he finishes higher next week. P5 or above, which will be a tall order, but hopefully those upgrades are something. I
So
hope
your
there's something.
guess is kind of this that they have an impactful upgrade set
Yes.
that kind of
Yeah.
pushes him up above. I like that.
Yeah, because I mean, Norris has driven that car better than it probably deserves at this point. So I believe he could do well if they have good upgrades. So now we actually have a stat of the week this week.
I like numbers.
Stat of the week. Yeah. So the stat of the week for this week. This was the first race in F1 history, at least according to the F1's website, to have 3 red flags in a race. Which meant a lot of
wild.
downtime and a lot of time to fast forward if you didn't watch it live.
I guess it was just that it had that super long red flag at
Yeah.
where was that last? Or was that Japan? Or Italy?
Japan had a long one because it ended up being a timed race, I think.
Yeah.
They had I think they had like 2 of them last year that had really long red flag periods. But yeah, so I mean, it was just multiple, and it felt like that way in practice. Even people were slipping off everywhere,
Yeah.
and so it just kind of.
I don't think they're going to
kept
have that
happening.
4th DRS next year.
I don't know if that was the issue. I don't know if they did something different to the track this year or something, but it
put
just seemed like
grease on it.
yeah, it just seemed like there was a lot of people slipping off that track.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but we shall see. So I think, unless there's anything else you guys want to mention, I think we're ready to drive on out of here.
Well, let's do it, baby.
So you can follow us on Twitter at F1side-pod. Email us if you have business inquiries, if you want to advertise or some shit like that. F1side-pod.
Or if you want to challenge our original music track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, what should they say if they're leaving a review somewhere?
I accidentally found this and I felt bad, so I gave it a listen.
and gave it 5 stars also.
Yeah.
So that's it for this week. I'm Cody.
I'm Noah.
Hey, I'm Paul.
We will see you in like a month. Ugh.